Good afternoon. Thanks for joining us this afternoon. I'm Diana Phifer, Director of Admissions and Marketing at the Pathway School, and we're so happy that you've joined us for another Facebook Live. If you're hopping on live with us and would like to give us information on where you're joining from or what brought you to us, those are always helpful pieces of information for us, certainly at your comfort level. We have a wonderful colleague monitoring those and will let us know if things come in or questions come in, so please feel free to share any questions you have in the comments, and we're happy to answer those either live as they come in or in a replay as we monitor those moving forward. I am pleased to be here today, and as always, if you find this helpful for others that you know in your life that might benefit from the information shared on these lives, please don't hesitate to share this video with others that might find it helpful and inspiring, give them some information. I am joined today by one of my other wonderful colleagues. This is Ms. DiMatteo. I hope I said your name correctly. And she is our resource coordinator here at the Pathway School. And last month we had a conversation with Ms. Dunleavy, and she is our family community liaison. She works with our families and helps to connect and bridge things between home and school, so has a lot of conversation about what we're doing at school with kids and how we can connect those in the after school hours. Mary's role is different than that, but I think there's a little bit of kind of overlap in terms of supports and conversations that families might have, but Mary's role is really to work with families, and I'm going to let her expand on this a little bit, to help find some resources in the community that their children may benefit from and may require in order to help them access their education or be successful in the community and at home, those kinds of things. So I'm so thankful that you joined us today, Mary. Thank you so much. I'm going to hand it over to you to expand or correct on what I've just shared and give us a little bit more information about yourself, what brought you to the school, and what you do and the role that you play with us here.
Thank you. Yeah. So I have a lifetime of experience working in human services and working with people and children that have different abilities. My mother was actually a life skills teacher at Elwyn, the Davidson School. So I have some experience working in group homes. I have 12 years in mental health. I was also a supports coordinator and most recently a parenting educator. So I have a lot of experience and connections with local resources in the 5-6 county area. With our parents here at the Pathway School, I do help link them to community supports and resources right in their home community. So if they're from Philadelphia or Berks County and they need mental health services or struggling with any sort of food insecurities, then I'll look to locate and help them navigate what's available in their area. One of the things I also do, which seems to be really helpful for parents, is assisting with entitlements that they're eligible for. Things like medical assistance, SNAP benefits, navigating Social Security disability benefits. That can be overwhelming when you're already dealing with, a child with different abilities or that's very neurodiverse. So trying to help hold a parent's hand through the process, walk them through it. We can do that on Zoom, and I also go out to their house and help with this application process. Just whatever I can do to make it as easy as possible on parents that can be already overwhelmed.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Yeah, that's a great point. Our families are fantastic, as is everybody, but there is a lot to think about, and navigating that world can be very overwhelming. And there's a lot of times, certainly in the experience that I've had in working with families, where the answer is no, and we have to help coach parents around that might be the first answer you get, but that's not necessarily the end of the story, and understanding what is available and how much to push back and what additional maybe documentation or kinds of information is needed to deem eligible services, or maybe even just to push the envelope a little bit is certainly helpful, and something that not everybody thinks about. When you talk with a professional and they tell you that you're not eligible for services, sometimes you can sit back and say, well, they're the experts, so if I'm not eligible, I'm not eligible. But that's not necessarily always the case, is that?
Right, exactly. And I will and I have even gone with a parent to their appointment at Social Security or at the county assistance office to help kind of communicate what it is they're looking for, or kind of bridge the gap between what that caseworker might be looking for and where the parent might not be understanding. And if they get denied service, I help them with the appeal process. So
that's great, and that's certainly, I'm sure, very much appreciated by our families who are a little hesitant to maybe push that a little bit and fight for something that is appropriate for their child.
yes.
Absolutely. So tell us a little bit more about what brought you into the field. I know you've had a lot of diverse experience in the special education realm and those kind of things. What brought you to the role that you have today here at the Pathway School, and kind of where is your passion?
So I mentioned my mother is a special education teacher. Her brother, my uncle, had an intellectual disability. So growing up, I was actually fascinated by the caseworkers that were coming in and out of the house, the case managers coordinating, and I felt really drawn to wanting to help people, plus my mother's passion for being a teacher. Coming to the Pathway School has been an absolute dream job in human services, and I feel so fortunate to be the resource coordinator here. Now, I don't know of another school that has this position, this specific position, and my whole experience here has been wonderful. The staff are absolutely incredible and so kind and caring and wanting to help the students. So not only do the parents reach out, but if a teacher sees that a child is struggling or the parents need some additional help, they reach out as well.
Absolutely. Great. So if you're curious more about what Mary does and how she supports families, our colleague is going to put her email address in the comments to make sure that you have a direct link to get to her. It's fantastic, as she said, to have somebody in this role here. And the fact that Mary is able to not just have the knowledge, and that in and of itself is huge, not just for the county that we reside in, but in the multiple counties for the families that we serve. It's a fantastic opportunity for her to understand what the opportunities are for families and the support services that their children need. But just as, and probably even sometimes more importantly, the step-by-step hand-holding, so to speak, or just kind of walking through, this is what this is, and this is what this means, and this is kind of the information that folks are looking for to help with that eligibility determination, is huge, and certainly something that we have received a lot of feedback from families that it's very helpful for them. We understand how overwhelming it can be, so we're really grateful, Mary, for you and your expertise and the compassion and the dedication that you have, not just to the students that we serve, but to the families, to really help them navigate this complex world that we live in and offer that support service. So thank you so much for everything that you do.
Thank you.
We're happy that we do have such a great opportunity to reach our families in multiple avenues and multiple ways. And we know that again, it can be a little bit overwhelming. I am a big proponent for really asking questions. So Mary is fantastic, as well as all of our staff, at really helping to walk you through what happens and what to do or what not to do, all of those kind of things. But ultimately, I like to describe everything that we do as kind of that teach a fisherman to fish concept. So it is important that you let us know what questions you have in any realm of what's happening here at the school, whether that be the teacher that's working with your child, or the clinician that's supporting, or the speech pathologist, or Mary in the role that she's doing with us. It is vital for us to make sure that we're giving you the tools to understand how to navigate this world, because like it or not, unfortunately, at one point in time, our time and your chapter here with us at the Pathways School will end on some level. I always say, once a member of Pathways community, always a member of Pathways community. So we certainly want to support our families lifelong and hear what's going on. But in terms of offering that kind of more direct support in accessing services, understanding services, all of those things, at some point that will be something that you're navigating, and it can be a little bit overwhelming moving from the child entitled world to the adult eligibility world. There's a lot to go on and a lot of connections to make that automatically happen in the child world that might not be as cohesive in the adult world. So we want you to make sure that you're asking questions about, when I see this, what does this mean, and how do I continue to advocate? When do I hold folks to things that they are needing to do, and when do I offer a little bit more? Because lifelong, that's sometimes something that we want or that families are going to need to do. So please make sure that as you're interacting with any member of our team, you're asking the questions that will allow you to have the knowledge to move things forward on your own. So I'm going to pause for a second, see if we have any questions that have come in. Devin, have we heard anything from folks?
So are there any types of assistance that Pathway does with our students and their families to help them and if they are in need?
Yes, we have the Helping Hands program, which occurs sometime between November and December during the holidays. It's an incredible program. I was so fortunate to oversee that this year. It's where if family needs a helping hand over the holidays with maybe some traditional meal items or weather appropriate clothing, gifts, our staff here and the teachers, the staff, they donate these items to the families themselves. It's very wonderful. I was able to coordinate and oversee that program this year, and it's something that all of our families are entitled to receive. And if you're a Pathway family, look for that information coming in October, of 2022.
Yeah, it's a great program, and there are many things that we do here that are really touching and emotional and bring a lot of great satisfaction to the work that we do. That's certainly one of those programs that it's such an honor to be able to support our families in a time of need so that they can enjoy some holidays that might be a little bit tougher for them otherwise. So, great, thank you.
Thank you.
Devin, have we heard any other questions that you want us to talk about? Wonderful. Well, Mary, if you don't have anything else to share, then I think we have shared as much information as we'd like you to know right now. However, we always say there's never a bad question, so if there's information that comes to mind later on, or if you're watching this on a replay and have some questions, we do continue to monitor the comments throughout these videos, so happy to respond to anything that comes up later on. Thank you again so much for joining us. Mary, any parting tips or knowledge or anything else that you'd like to share?
Yeah, I definitely do want to mention that one of the things parents do call for on occasion is recreational activities in their home communities that may be specific to the child's ability, and that's something I'm happy to do, whether it's for a sport-related activity, an art-related activity, or even a summer camp or respite program. That's if you have any questions or looking for those sort of activities, please give me a call. Absolutely.
Great. Perfect. Thanks so much. Well, we hope you've had a good time with us this afternoon. We certainly had fun sharing things with you. We're happy that you've logged on with us and look for more information to come in the coming months. Thanks so much. You have a great afternoon.